Hello, everyone, and welcome to Portimao for the final race of this season of Formula Omega. It is a lovely day so far here in Portugal, but there is rain on the horizon.
Going into the final race, all three championships are still up for grabs. Four drivers can still win the Drivers' Championship. It's basically winner takes all for Daniel and Greg. Mia Hart, a bit further back, needs to win with Greg not finishing second, and Alex essentially needs to win the race with all of his rivals dropping out. In the Teams' Championship, Pentagon are 10 points behind Frozen Light, so they need to outscore them by at least 11. And in the Tyres Championship, it's grid against gridlock, they're on equal points, and it's basically going to come down to whichever tyre manufacturer wins.
On pole for the third time this season is Alex. If he were to, this is the best position for him going into the championship. Second place, we have Ileana. Another good qualifying from her. First lap of qualifying it was. Almost stayed on pole until the very last lap from Alex. Third place, Jack Coffey. Very good performance here in the Pentagon. Greg would win the championship as it stands, starting in fourth, looking to hold off Daniel, who is right behind him in fifth. Lewis is starting in sixth in the other Frozen Light, and Mia Hart, the final championship contender, is starting down in seventh. As we get ready to go here. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And away we go, here in Portimao. Looks like a good start for Ileana and Alex. Mia Hart is up past Lewis already. Long run into turn 1, and Ileana briefly takes the lead, but Alex gets much faster route around the outside. Further back, Jack Coffey's also got past Ileana.
Ileana really losing out in turn 1 then, having to take that tight line. Is that going to give Greg an opportunity to take the place?
It may do as they come down long straight down into the hairpin. Greg goes down the inside, but Dan also gets through.
On the exit.
Will Mia Hart? Yes, Chris is also through. What is happening here?
Does Ileana have some kind of issue already? She's losing positions every corner practically.
So the 4 championship contenders in the top 5 now.
Almost running together.
Yeah, only Jack Coffey in the way. This is a long winding middle section here before a very long straight into the line. Alex leads by 1.5 seconds through the middle sector.
Alex pulling out a comfortable lead early. Already well clear of Jack Coffey.
1.7 seconds over Jack Coffey, who has another 1.5 back to Greg.
Now, early indications seem that Jack Coffey is not able to pull away from Greg and Dan once they got past Ileana.
Yeah, that's very important. Ileana seems to have stabilised in 7th.
As it stands right now, Dan would need to get past Greg and Jack Coffey to win the championship.
Will Maggie have a go on Lewis as into the hairpin? And Ileana's there as well. Doesn't seem like it. Further back, Elle has improved by 2 positions up to 11th. And Georgia is up to 14th from last on the grid.
That's an incredible start. Did she gain that all into the first corner? Or
not sure.
Has she been picking them off one by one?
There has been a lot of movement further down. As it stands, Frozen Light are leading the Constructors' Championship on countback. Both Frozen Light and Pentagon will be on 96.
So Pentagon are outscoring them by exactly 10.
Yes.
It's a tall order for Pentagon to get more points as it is, though. Mia Hart would have to get past Dan, or Jack getting past Alex.
More importantly,
there's a long way to go.
If Maggie gets past Lewis, that would be enough.
Lewis
However,
is right
Maggie
in the middle
and Jack
of
Gray battling. Jack goes around the outside of 1. That's a lovely manoeuvre.
Let's see if Lewis can get past Ileana into the hairpin. This is where his teammate did it.
Yes.
That Panus not seeming to have the acceleration advantage we're used to seeing from it.
Ooh, Ileana runs a bit wide there, but Lewis not able to push the advantage.
We do know, of course, that Frozen Light has incredible
Maggie!
traction off the corners.
Almost going through into that corner. That is not really an overtaking spot.
You can see Georgia joining the back of this battle.
Yeah, up in 13th now. I wonder if she's got very light fuel.
It would be a surprise if she didn't, considering just how quick she's been from that last
Ileana
place on the
does
grid.
get through.
That's Ileana holding off Lewis.
Oh yes,
isn't it?
Ileana holds off Lewis, sorry.
The two of them,
Distracted by the graphics.
all of these are losing so much time in this battle. The lines Ileana's taking, they're keeping Lewis behind. They're costing all of them a lot of time.
Yeah. As they come through to end lap 3.
This is going to get interesting. It's turn 1.
It is. Lewis looks like he's going for a move. As
In the
L.
background, L.
Ooh, not getting past Jack Gray. Georgia is almost in a position to have a go at Mia. L locks up there.
Now
Don't
we'll do
want
the
to be
tyres
doing
they
your
need to do at
tyres
all.
early.
Looked like Ileana had a bit of a compromised run
Go
into
on board
turn
with
4.
Jack Gray as they all go down the long middle straight.
And that's Maggie trying to pass Lewis on the inside.
Oh!
And there's contact!
There may have been contact. As Maggie goes up into 7th, replacing Lewis.
It looks to me like it was Lewis that made contact with Ileana in the braking zone, but we'll see it on board. Very late move from Ileana there to cover that
Yeah,
off.
I think that's a racing instant, to be honest. Ileana is now down in 13th. Mia Hart has passed Daniel.
That's a very big deal. That gap was about 2 seconds. Has Dan made a mistake? No, Mia Hart has been catching up.
Does Dan have an issue?
That looks like some kind of slow issue for Dan, actually.
It's a loose wheel. It's a loose wheel for the Frozen Light.
That is a very uncharacteristic mistake from the Frozen Light team if they've not put that wheel on properly on the grid.
Can they get back round? They're in the final penultimate sector here.
Got a bit of a gap back to the cars behind.
That's
Maggie
not
8
the
seconds
that's not
behind.
the concern. The concern is, can they take the long right-hander all the way to the pits?
The other concern is, can they from here fuel to when it's going to rain? We're expecting it to rain sometime in the lap 20s.
They do
kind of
manage to get
region.
to the pits.
It's going to be very interesting to see how much fuel they put in this car. Are they going to commit to going as far as the rain's expected, or are they going to still run a what would be a 3-stop strategy if they do a short stint?
Yeah.
This is very much going to compromise Dan's race, though. I think they will have a good clear track in front of them once they come out the pits.
It's decent amount of fuel. I think
think
they're
that
still
might
going
be-
to try and 2-stop.
Yeah,
But this
they might
very
need the
much
rain to
puts
come sooner rather
Pentacorn
than later, though.
in the constructors lead, and Greg in the drivers' championship lead. Next
Final
up road is
forward,
Alex
Greg.
Woodruff through the middle sector, as there's a lovely pass there from Bronwyn on Kerrod, who's making his first start of the season. Very lovely lap from him in the first qualifying session.
It
Alba
really
now
was.
looking to... There's no overtaking spot there, Alba. That's why Michael
And that's
gets through.
Costa the play.
Yeah. Like,
At
Ooh,
best,
that's-
she was losing a place
that's
there.
a great pass from Michael. Michael is
Michael
charging
just
through.
came through the field.
Yeah.
I think he made a bad start, which cost him a lot of time, and he's been recovering
Yeah,
those places.
that's
He's
him
only up one.
one. And that's Dan, who he's up on.
We do know that Michael tends to run a long fuel strategy, though, so perhaps he was saving his tyres in the early laps.
Mia
He's
having
going for it
go
now.
L down into turn 1. I think she should have stayed behind them for longer. She ducks back into the slipstream. No real move there. Oh, another lock up from L.
So an update on the Teams Championship. With Dan's loose wheel, currently Pentagon would have a comfortable advantage over Frozen Light.
Yeah. Pentagon will be on 98 points to Frozen Light's 87.
So Dan really needs to come back through to at least challenge for the podium here, and that's going to be a tall order.
This is going to be an interesting battle. So Greg has stayed on the back of Jack Coffey. They've generally kept the same gap to Alex as well.
Yeah, at one point Greg got that gap down to half a second, but it's opened up a bit. recently. Perhaps
Pentagon
Greg
have
just
really nice
saving his
traction
tyres.
throughout that last corner, it seems.
We know the DLP is quick down the straights though.
You can
See
see
if
that
Greg
gap
can close
closing.
up that gap a bit. Yeah. These two now 10 seconds clear of Mia Hart in 4th.
I think Pentagon might be focusing on getting the Constructors' Championship here.
It's also possible that Jack Coffey is running a much lighter fuel load than Mia.
Mm.
We'll see
Maggie
in a
gets
few
past
laps.
Chris! Down the front straight.
A good move from Maggie. Is she going to be able to pull away before the hairpin? It looks like it.
Yes. Mia and Elle still battling for 9th. Will Mia have a chance down to the hairpin? It's just the pace of that Panus too much. Yeah. Alfa Romeo having better traction out of the corners, but just the raw top speed.
It looked like Elle was much better in the braking zone as well.
Mia seemed to brake a bit early.
I
Jack
think
Gray
she knew
now
that
on the back of
move
Lewis.
wasn't happening.
Alp just got past Ileana. Ileana been overtaken again.
She's continuing to drop right back. I think that
Ileana
car has some
started
kind of
second.
issue. She
No
has not
issue
had the pace
reported.
at all.
Kerrod looking to make his first overtake of the season. Do we think there was a big lockup from Ileana that we may have missed that ruined her tyres?
It's possible. I didn't see how she dropped from like 12th
Oh, that's a
place down to
lockup
17th.
from Bronwyn, I believe. Let's watch Kerrod through this final sector. You can just put your foot down from here.
Oh yeah, and the Panus might struggle to be flat through here.
No. It pulled away a bit.
Was a very good final part of that corner though.
Kerrod needed to stay behind for longer.
Well, Kerrod
Oh,
needs
that's
that
a
run going on.
very wide Selwyn ahead.
This might be an opportunity for Kerrod, but it might also be an opportunity for Ileana.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Jack
What's
Gray
that?
has got past Lewis.
Salwan pulling away nicely there, I think.
How did that happen? Let's get...
This was an
In the
overtake into the
hairpin.
hairpin.
Just had... asserted the inside line early.
It does not seem like Lewis has the pace today.
Ollie now pits. That could be a very early strategy call. Another 8-second stop. Dan has got past Alex Hill.
That's Jack Coffey slowing down. Jack Coffey got some kind of issue on the start
Yes,
finish
Jack
straight.
Coffey's out! Jack Coffey, very much out here.
That will be a disaster for Pentagon's chances of winning the team's
And Mia Hart
championship here.
sees Jack on the left there. As Maggie pits, she definitely had light fuel. But she got up
As it
into
stands, that would hand the team's championship back to Frozen Light.
Let's see what kind of pit stop Maggie does. Because this is a very early stop, but it's understandable given the pace she had.
It is. She could easily fuel to when the rain's expected, which there's a lot of uncertainty over. But if this is a long stop, I suspect that's the
It's a
strategy.
relatively long stop, yeah. As Kerrod, again looking into turn 1. There's Dan now.
So Dan's caught up to the
Let's see how...
to this battle.
Yeah.
Look how much more grip they have.
There's
They've
finally
got
the
nowhere
yellow
to go
flag
with it.
for...
Kerrod's lost the slipstream a bit of Ileana. But Dan's gonna have to be really good on the brakes. Wow! Gets both of
What
them!
a pass!
How is that possible?
Oh, let's just get another look at that. So they
That
gone
was
from so far
absolutely
behind.
incredible. Look how far behind Ileana they are.
And look at how well they get it turned in. It's just so good on the brakes, that car.
Can we see a back-facing view from Ileana's perspective?
Yeah. So this is out of the first set of corners.
At this point, Ileana has no reason
Yeah,
to
she's a
expect
long way
attack
ahead of that
behind.
group of 4, right? Ileana does lock up slightly, but still. Dan just shoots through.
The confidence they have to know that they could get that car stopped for the corner, braking that late.
They have to be aggressive in this race.
They do.
Chris Rowe! Chris is out.
That is another failure for Chris Rowe.
That means Chris
After doing
is
so
likely
well.
to have to go through preseason qualifying next season.
After doing so well and finishing in the top 10 in the team's championship last season, Cheetah Racing have got just 3 points this season,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
Ollie also appears to be out.
That has happened somewhere, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Is that a technical issue for the aggro host? It wouldn't be the first time.
No, it wouldn't. Bronwyn now pits. Did Dan just pass Michael as... Oh no, Michael also goes into the pits here. But just Dan seems like they're the fastest on track. Just from
I
looking
think they
at them.
probably are. Like, they're perhaps 50 seconds or more off the lead. But the cars in front,
Took off a
lot of
second
the-
from Alp in the
a
first
lot of them
sector.
still have to make 2 pit stops.
Yeah.
Whereas we think Dan might be able to complete this race with just 1 more.
Of course, with all of the pit stop shenanigans, it's unclear as to how the constructors will play out right now.
It is, but losing Jack Coffey is a disaster for Pentagon.
Oh, absolutely.
They need Mia Hart in a better place than third to have a chance now.
Mia has still yet to get past L.
If
The
Mia
Alfa
Hart
Romeo's
finishes
never
third,
been the fastest down the straights, has it?
it hasn't.
Everyone
that
seems
is
to
gonna be an
making the
issue
mistake of
getting
pulling out
past the
too
finesse.
early here.
Well, Mia's going to get a second chance, but she's going to have to be really late on the brakes. I think the hairpin's probably a better opportunity.
She didn't quite carry enough speed through there.
The issue that the Panus is having to the hairpin is Elle gets a bit wide
He's
there,
understeer.
as they struggle through this corner to make it flat.
You often don't want to take it flat, or you risk like spinning out if you mess up your line even slightly.
If you can take it flat without
Yeah.
worrying about that.
Albert is once again stuck behind a car. This time it's Georgia in the slunts. It's not Daisy for once.
Georgia's not that light on fuel then. Lap 11
Greg
still going,
pits.
now in the points.
Greg has pitted,
First of the championship contenders in then, for a scheduled stop.
and Greg wasn't catching Alex or pulling away from Mia Hart that much. Definitely not catching Alex.
Honestly, I think, as it stands, it looks like Alex has Greg covered.
However, Alex needs to have Greg covered by about 8 positions.
That's not looking likely right now. It's all
No,
Greg
Mia Hart
really
does go
needs
through. Will
is
Jack
to finish
Gray?
ahead of Dan.
Will Jack Gray go through? Greg really needs to get out ahead here. L does pit now.
And it looks like Greg is out ahead of
Yes,
those two.
he is. Not by much, though. Mia's been released from behind L as Alba
Side by
just
side,
about
all the
gets
way
past
through
Georgia.
Turn 1.
Dan is up into 11th now and can see Alp.
Alp is running a long first stint, and not especially quickly.
We've heard that before.
They've had
So
a lot
just
of
in
issues
2
this
laps,
season, haven't they?
Dan has cut off 4 seconds from Alp.
They absolutely have.
Alex, meanwhile, has been gaining 2 seconds a lap on Mia Hart.
This is a dominant performance from Alex. Like, he needs a lot of luck to actually win the championship with this, but he's
Yeah.
doing all he can.
He must be cursing the names of Kerrod and Lawrence for that qualifying.
Well, he's going to have to lap Carrot at some point.
Well, he's got Alex ahead as... Oh!
Oh, that's nearly contact with Alan Alex Hill.
Yeah, L manages to just about hold it, I think. As Jack Gray pits now. Michael is behind Kerrod. Alba also pits.
And that's Alex Woodger being passed by Maggie.
Yes, who has pitted, and I don't think Alex Woodger has. Maggie now right on the back of Ileana.
Who's still
again.
holding up a big train.
Ileana hasn't pitted.
I think it's possible that she has like 20 laps of fuel.
Yeah,
That would
and I
explain
think
her
that
lack of
was a
pace.
bad strategy call.
Yeah. Especially if that has her coming in just before it starts raining.
Unless she puts on the inters, like, as a risk.
It would be a big risk, but I think to score any points, Ileana's going to need to take some. Both Finesses are still running, and we're nearly half distance.
We are. Oh, that was a brief yellow flag there. What was that?
So this is Alex trying to lap.
Yeah, I'm just wondering where this yellow
Those two.
flag was.
Was there contact between... I saw Elle locking up. Did Elle go into the side of Alex Hill?
Oh, it's Kerrod! What has happened here?
They had some
Oh,
kind
he gets
of
a
technical
transmission failure.
Tries to come into the pits, and the car just runs out of drive.
I don't think he does. I think the car just brakes, and he is short of the actual pit entrance here. But I think he might just about be out of the way to the point where they don't have to close the pit lane.
Well...
Not anymore.
Yeah, that's not helped, has it?
No, but Alex has just lapped Alba. Dan is right on the back of Alp now.
I think anything up to 4th place is definitely realistic for Dan right now.
Yeah, so Kerrod's one entry ends in failure. But a technical failure. Or one start,
It's a big disappointment for them.
Yeah.
It has not been Kerrod's season. So
Dan, I believe, is under a minute off the lead. Importantly, under 30 seconds off Mia Hart. Because he's only, what, 2 seconds back of Daisy?
Yeah.
I reckon they've got Alp into the hairpin this lap.
If they can break as late as they did last time, then they'll be past Daisy as well.
Yeah. Here we go. Alp covering off the inside. Aggressively.
Very aggressively. That was an incredibly late move.
Just about
very lucky
okay.
that Dan didn't go straight into the back of him there.
Dan has to be careful though. Greg gets past Mia Hart.
Mia
Hart's blown up! Frozen Light are your Season 4 Constructors Champions.
Well,
this opens up the possibility of Dragonlord Productions overtaking Pentacoron.
It does. They need to outscore them by 18, which they can only do if Greg wins the race.
In which case, would win all three championships. Lewis is now running in
Light
third.
would take the teams, but yeah.
Yeah.
It would be an incredible result for that team.
So Georgia and Alp both pit, which frees up Dan to chase down Daisy for 5th.
It's not looking likely that Gridlock are going to be winning the Tyres Championship here. The leading Gridlock driver is 47 seconds off the lead in Lewis.
Yeah.
Alex
pits.
Is this going to be a short middle stint 2-stop?
I think with... Rain is expecting what? About 8 laps?
Yeah, I'd say...
Maybe 6 to 8 laps. But we
the
don't know if it'll be
20s.
heavy enough. That's fuel to the end.
Maybe. I was expecting more like 9 or 10 seconds to fuel to the end, but I think again, do have a quick pit crew. That could be a short final stint.
It could. There's loads of moves happening into the hairpin. Alba nearly getting around the inside of Alex Woodger. Elle now behind Alp. This is a big battle for 12th here. Actually, you can say it's up to 9th for Maggie, who's currently holding Michael.
Georgia's not all that far ahead of this lot either, but her pace is incredible. We thought she had light fuel early with how many places she was getting. She's still running on that original fuel that she started with.
She has stopped.
Is not. Never mind, well that's equally impressive. She's in a net 8th place.
Dan has got past Daisy. How did that happen? Oh, just down the front straight.
Daisy was only a few seconds ahead of Elle.
Just better on the brakes.
So next car will be Mia for Dan then. 6 seconds up the road.
Alex is only a 10th ahead of Lewis?
Ahead of Greg.
Oh, Greg, sorry.
Yeah, these two are right next to each other. They've both
So yeah,
made
Alex
their pit
came out
stops
of the
now.
pits right ahead of Greg.
So Greg made a massive undercut there and nearly gained the place.
Yeah. But Alex is already pulling away.
Feel quite bad for missing that now.
Let's go back and take a look.
So as Alex came out the pits, was Alex compromised by a lap car? That's Alex Hill. I mean,
the next car back
yeah.
is Greg. So how did... Oh yeah, Alex just couldn't get past Alex Hill. Ooh!
Oh, there was contact, I think.
Was there?
Oh, that was very lucky. It didn't end up worse for Alex.
There was!
Yes. Didn't anticipate
Alex
how
just
much.
being impatient.
Didn't anticipate just how much Alex Hill would have to slow down for that corner.
Yeah, Alex being impatient there almost cost him.
He's got the fresher tyres than Greg now, though, so he should be able to pull away.
Dan closing up on Mia, but already losing time to Alex. Of course, Dan's tyres are 12 laps old.
What is Dan's pace relative to Lewis?
A couple seconds a lap faster, I think. As Mia pits. So Dan will move up into 4th now.
Mia will presumably fuel to the end from there.
We'll take a look.
Fuel to the end and hope it doesn't rain.
That's fueling to the end.
Absolutely. 8.6 seconds.
Let's see. Dan gained 4/10 in the first sector over Lewis. But Lewis hasn't pitted. Dan is coming in this lap for their second stop.
There's potentially second of 3 then.
That
is surprisingly early considering how long the
it was an 8-second stop. That might mean that Alex might have to pit again though. Alex does a 17.9.
That is a great race pace lap. Now nearly 3 seconds ahead of Greg.
Dan just gained 2.5 seconds on Lewis, who is blowing up.
It's another technical issue for Lewis. He has had all the bad luck in that.
We know he's not coming into the pits because Dan is, so if anything, that's just another car out the way for Dan in their pursuit of Greg. I mean, Frozen Light have already won the Constructors.
Outscoring Greg by 4 is going to be hard. If Dan finishes second with Greg third, that would not be enough.
It would not, by 1 point. .5, that's fueled to the end, surely.
I would be very surprised if it isn't, but I said that about the last stop.
But also, what if they have to come in to change tyres?
We don't know whether this rain is going to come at all and how heavy it's going to be, but they're going to be able to get through it on slick tyres. That hasn't worked out too great at the traffic.
Dan has overcut Mia there.
Yeah.
Mia's been stuck behind Georgia has been the issue.
Yeah. Georgia having an incredible race. Team Slunt's still looking for their first points, but if it finishes like this, she's going to be getting 8.
She hasn't made a stop. Oh no, she has, yes. Daisy is the only one who hasn't stopped of the top 12.
Is she trying to go all the way until, like, lap 20 something until it rains?
Maybe.
She's had good pace considering how much fuel she started with.
Yeah.
Like, Daisy's 25 seconds ahead of Dan.
Well, Dan did overtake Daisy, don't forget. It's a long pit lane.
Absolutely, but Dan could lose out trying to overtake these two.
Well, Dan's already gained on Mia.
We'll see how quickly they can get past. If they get a really good run out of the final corner, then turn 1 should be their
Dan
first opportunity.
Surely Dan must be relying on Greg having a technical failure at this point, though.
It's looking like it. It's hard to imagine how Dan could finish 2 places ahead of Greg as it stands. Or even ahead of Greg at all. We're only just past half
Look
distance.
at this run into
Still a
turn
long
one.
way to go. I think the hairpin's going to be the best opportunity. See that Georgia's actually pulling away from me up ahead.
Well, I think Mia started to defend from Dan. Although, good luck doing that into the hairpin here.
They can break 50 metres later than anyone else into here. A late defensive move might cover it though. Not quite as late as what Alp did.
We were behind Alp and L battling.
How's Alp going to do on the brakes?
Not that well. Who's on? Michael!
Yes, Michael out of the race.
Yes, engine failure for Michael as well.
It's a sad way to cap off.
Ollie
what has
isn't
been
actually out, by the
good
way.
season for Michael.
Ollie isn't actually out. We thought he was. He was
he just like that far behind?
I think he must have also had a technical failure that he made a stop for that we didn't see.
Right. So both Agrohos are still running. Last and second last, but they are still running.
Well, you say that. Look at this mess ahead.
Greg
Is that
having to
Alex?
negotiate through this.
Is that Alex? No, it's Maggie blowing up. We were looking on board with Greg. Maggie.
We'll finish with no points this season. No race finishes.
That is such a disappointment, given that Daisy has finished, what, every race?
Every race bar one, I think.
Yes. Oh, yeah, she broke down at Shortwood Park.
Yes, and both Polite Puff and
Greg
Scales
has
have qualified.
finally got through.
That's
Dan
the
is
level.
past Mia. Why is Alex Woodruff?
Is that a Samsung corner?
Oh, it's so easy to do it there. No, wait.
No, that
No,
might be
it's
at
turn 3.
Going
Just
into the
locks
gravel,
up.
they misjudged that braking zone horribly if they don't have some kind of issue.
Dan, yes, definitively through on Mia now.
If Mia
So
can
let's
get a
watch
really
on board
good run
from
through
Mia.
here.
And just see how
No
much more
matter
grip
grip.
Dan has.
Yeah, there's no competition there. That gap from Dan to Daisy remains at 25 seconds.
They'll be fine with that.
I think Daisy and Jack Gray are potentially Dan's main competition then.
Yeah.
Got to imagine that Georgia definitely has to stop again.
Oh, absolutely. Daisy pits now.
As does Jack Gray.
L! L! No! L will not finish a race this season. L is
For
yet
the
to finish a
second
race.
season running, they failed to see the checkered flag. They're gonna do
However,
it one
they
day.
will be
I
in
know.
Season 5 as well, based on their qualifying performances. Water leak for L. Alex will just still yet to get going again.
Does that car have some kind of problem? 'Cause it's not going anywhere.
Maybe just being overly cautious?
It might be beat.
Dan does get through both Daisy and Jack Gray, who both pitted. As does Mia. No,
That's
Alex
worked
Woodruff.
out well for Dan,
Oh no,
then.
he's not got going again.
Georgia now running in a podium place for the first time.
Yeah.
Team Slunts have really turned it around from the start of this season.
Look at how nicely Dan got turned into that corner.
I feel like if they hadn't had that loose wheel, they might be 10 or 20 seconds up the road from where they are, but it wouldn't have made the difference. Not as it's looking right now.
Well, don't forget, if Greg has to stop again as well, and Dan doesn't.
And there is the rain to consider.
Yeah.
That could change everything.
We're expecting it soon, but we don't know when.
Or where on the track it's gonna arrive first. 'Cause this is quite a long track.
It is.
It could easily be wet at one end and dry at the other. And
Oh,
there is
there
the
it
rain
is.
in the final sector. You can see the track starting to get slightly damp. That's really going to hurt their run off the final corner.
However, Dan has shown to be one of the best drivers in the wet.
Anyone that was planning a pit stop in the next few laps is going to be feeling really good right now.
But do you take the risk of switching to Inters? Dan is probably going to have a go at Georgia this lap, let's say.
Absolutely. Probably into the hairpin. Georgia defends fairly early to the inside.
No. Dan wasn't feeling it, don't think.
They seem to know that that's Dan's main opportunity to get past.
Bron is pitting, and the pit lane is wet. What tyres will
I
Bron
would put
put on?
Inters.
I think you've got to.
We're expecting a decent amount of rain, but
Slicks.
he's going for the slicks again. They're definitely still the fastest tyres right now. It's not wet enough for Inters yet.
Iliana also goes
Yeah.
out on the slicks.
It might be soon.
Good race from Daisy, still up in 6th. Ahead of Jack Gray.
And that long first stint, she's going to have good pace in the second half of this race.
Ollie is
I don't
running in
think-
the top 10
I don't think
for
Mia's
Agro
safe from
Host.
Daisy at all.
Dan and Georgia both nice 69 seconds down, and Dan has the overspeed down the front straight.
That slant is quick in a straight line, pulling away in the final phase of the straight.
However, into turn 1. Oh, Georgia carries more speed though.
This is a good battle.
Georgia locks up.
locking up.
Those
So
are
far,
very
she
old
has been-
tyres.
She has been the hardest opponent that Dan's had to pass.
Yeah.
Been that full lap that Dan's been trying to get past Georgia.
Let's take a look.
Second
as they go
attempt
into
to
the
the
hairpin.
hairpin.
No, Dan didn't have the run this time. This is an
And this
incredible
is
drive from
allowing
Georgia.
Mia and Daisy to catch back up.
Yeah.
Georgia probably still has to stop again, and soon, but this could line up perfectly
Oh,
with the stop
Georgia
for wet
makes a
tyres.
mistake. And Dan does get through. Very
It
easy
was
to make
always
a
gonna
mistake
happen
in
eventually.
Samsung. Now, can Dan pull away? Yes, already, is the answer.
These wet conditions is exactly what they would want. We know how good Dan is in these conditions, we know how good the Frozen Light car is,
Yeah.
but that is a long gap to grow.
Greg losing time to Alex quite a bit, though, as well. I mean, Alex is just that fast.
Yes, and Alex has 5 or 6 lap pressure tyres.
Yeah. Currently, though, as it stands, Greg would win by 7 points. 70 to 63.
Frozen Light would take the Constructors, as we know, and Grid would win the Tyres Championship.
Frozen Light would take it on 95. Greg pits.
What tyres is Greg going to put on there?
10 laps to go.
Any choice is a risk here. If Greg loses this championship, this decision
Inters.
could be what does it. I think that's the safer choice.
Greg will be the first one out there on the intermediates. That's a slow stop as well.
It's going to be fascinating to see what kind of pace Greg can set relative to Alex and Dan now. If this decision doesn't work out and they have to go back to slicks, then that's 50 seconds down the drain.
I don't think he'll have to go back to slicks. It's just how much time will he lose before everyone else has to go onto inters.
I think until there's spray, the slicks are quicker. So currently it'd be pretty close between the two tyres, I'm expecting.
Yeah,
But Greg's
because
still
it's
going to be at a
getting wet
disadvantage.
a bit all throughout the lap now.
It is, and we're
Ollie is
expecting
also Ollie's onto the
full
medium wets,
or moderate wets.
moderate
Yeah.
wets.
That is an interesting choice. We're expecting it to continually get wetter once it starts
There's
raining.
spray
There
in the
is
final
spray.
sector as Georgia
Georgia in the
finally
pits.
pits.
She is in a great position to
That
challenge
is
for a
the
podium
best
here.
timed two-stop I think I've seen. Daisy gets past Mia, and the
With
run.
how
and
wet it's getting,
straight.
all of the cars that have just gone past Georgia, they're surely all going to have to stop again.
Yeah,
It's going to be an interesting outlap for her, trying to get those
moderate
tyres up to
wets I
temperature.
believe as well.
Looks
Oh,
like it.
it's just got even wetter. Yeah, there's now spray down the pit lane.
It's
Alba
rapidly
pitting.
getting wetter, isn't it?
They
think we're
might
gonna see
all
the
be
whole
on moderate
field into
wets,
the
to be
pits
honest. Nice stop
quite
for
soon.
Alba.
So that gap from Greg to Alex, 41.5 right now. And it is coming down.
So Alex still not wet. 23.4 first sector for Alex. Greg is in sector 1 now.
Not the wettest part of the track.
No. But it is a
23.
23.3. Having fresh tyres does that anyway, but I think
It
that
does.
is a sign that
The
it's time to change.
I think the
Jack
difference
Gray
with
and
fresh
Mia now,
tyres would be more than that, but
I'd say battling, but they're kind of just sliding. Alex does
Alex
pit.
in. He didn't necessarily have to stop again, did he?
I don't think so, but you just cover Greg here.
Absolutely. With a 41-second lead,
Yeah. As Jack Gray
you can do that.
goes up into 5th here.
Set of intermediate grids.
Yep.
Alex gets out with a slightly slower stop, but not too bad.
So Dan's still running on the slicks.
They're
Are they
making it
worried
work.
that, like, Daisy and Jack Gray and Mia won't pit?
I think if you're Dan, you do the opposite to whatever Greg does.
I don't. Well, it's too
It's
late
the best
to do that.
chance.
No. They're 30. No, they're losing, like, 5 seconds a lap to Greg.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, yeah.
56.6 middle sector compared to a 55.1. I think you just have to pit here.
Yeah, they'll be at risk from
The
Georgia
stewards
if they
might
leave
mandate
it too
people
late.
pitting, to be honest.
It's possible. There's see some bits of standing water in the final corner now. This is really going to start getting dangerous for anyone still on the slicks.
Yeah.
But Dan's just about making it work. They stay out for another lap.
They do. Losing a full second in that sector. I think they are just worried about losing positions to Daisy, Jack, and Mia. As Alex is
Hasn't
out!
stopped either.
Alex is off! Alex is off! He's not out yet!
But the gap
Greg?
is small to Greg, and Greg will go through.
Greg will go through!
Alex is very wedged in the gravel trap there. That's going to take a while to get out. Oh, never mind. He's done
Never
it
mind, that's a lovely
fantastically
bit
quickly.
of driving.
It might still be possible for him to chase down Greg here, but
What happened?
is that a mistake on the new tyres?
That's an odd place to go off as well.
It is. Did he hit a pitch of
Just
standing
slides.
water in aquaplane?
Yeah.
Perhaps even the intermediates not having enough tread depth to deal with the standing water we're starting to get now.
Well, Greg is on the grid intermediates as well.
He was one of the first to pit for wets, though.
Meanwhile, Dan, still out there on the slicks.
It's almost working. The thing is, like, Daisy, Jack Gray, and Mia are all also still on slicks. And
Jack
Dan
Gray has
won't
caught
drop behind
up,
all of them.
actually. Wait. Yeah, Jack Gray's caught up to Daisy. I was misreading.
And where is Georgia? Because Georgia's behind those four, but on the wet tyres.
Gaining quite heavily.
Gaining quickly. She'll be comfortably ahead if they all choose to pit, but if they don't...
Bron already back in. Dan pits.
I think that's a sensible choice. We've seen Alex go off already, and that was on a set of enters.
Daisy will go through into 3rd. Jack Gray pits.
Looks like Daisy Red's the only one staying out on the slicks of the top drivers then.
Mia.
And Mia staying as well. That will gain them 2 places.
Oh, Dan has to wait for Jack Gray. Where's Georgia?
Georgia might have a
Alp goes
chance
into the pits as well. Oh.
I don't think Dan's lost enough time to be in danger from Georgia. We'll see
No.
Dan coming out of the pits now.
Yeah, Dan's out. There is Dan.
There's Jack
Oh no,
Gray.
there's Jack Gray. Jack Gray. Georgia is through on Jack Gray.
That hasn't worked out quite as well for Georgia as I expected, to be honest.
I think it's still two positions at least that she wouldn't have had otherwise.
And Daisy and Mia are still well within our sights. Those two
Yeah.
still being out on the slicks.
Is Daisy going to try and stay out to get a podium?
She made a very late stop.
She's
for
lost
slicks.
2.5 seconds in that sector.
Her gap to the next car back on wets, though, is Dan, who's 20 seconds
It's
behind.
Georgia. Oh no, it is Dan. Sorry.
Daisy would lose those places if she pitted. She might just keep them if she stays out and it doesn't get too much
Dan
weather.
has gained 3 seconds on Mia in that sector.
Yeah, I think if you saw that, you'd be not staying out.
The
But
battle for the lead, however,
Daisy and Mia don't have that information.
no. Alex is now only 7 seconds back on Greg, who looks set to win the championship.
Definitely. This is just for pride for Alex, really. Winning the race doesn't make much difference to him, other than another race win to add to his collection.
No, but if Greg retires from here, Dan would win the championship,
I believe...
but only by 3 points over Alex.
What about Dan?
That's
Surely
what I
with
said,
Dan
Dan will
scoring-
win. I said Dan will win.
Oh, Dan would win.
Yeah,
Yes,
Dan
yes.
will win by 3 points over Alex.
So Alex still needs both of them to retire, really.
I mean, Dan finishing as low as 6th would be enough for Alex to win the championship.
And with how close that group is, like, that's
Alex
not
laps
completely off
Albert
the
nicely.
table.
Let's go take a look at those on the slicks, including Ileana and Alex Hill.
What is Ileana's current pace? Is she within 10
Bad.
seconds of the leading pace? Because that car looks like it has no grip at all. She's lost 10 seconds nearly to her own time just in the first 2 sections.
1:35.1. Wow.
Dan would be on for a
In the
120.
middle sector, Dan gained 3 seconds on Mia.
The slicks are not the tyres to have anymore. Does Mia have any chance at all at holding off
Alex
Dan
did a
here?
1:38.5. I think Ileana actually got past into the points that lap. Daisy did a 1:30. Mia does not have a chance here. Dan
There's
does a
no way.
1:26.5.
Dan's going to be able to break so much later with those tyres into this corner. Like, Mia can only
Doesn't
complete
even
that
need
pace.
to. Alex is actually on the pit straight behind. Oh, Greg is on the pit straight behind, doing a 1:25.2. Ileana did a 1:35. So yeah, 10 seconds off the pace, but in 10th
Greg and Alex
position.
have been on another planet to anyone else here.
Yeah. Can Dan hunt down Daisy? 14 seconds it was at the start of.
I think that's easily catchable, to be honest. Like, Daisy's probably the quickest of those out there on slicks, but that's not saying much.
There's only 4 laps remain.
Daisy, of course, trying to hold on to her first Formula Omega podium.
Dan just needs to drive as smoothly as possible here. Through the middle sector, Dan gains 2.5 seconds.
That is where they're gaining, like, the most time, I think.
Well, that's where you need the most grip. Also, Dan is already 5.5 seconds up on Mia.
Mia's
This is
going
the
to be under
battle for
pressure from
10.
Georgia pretty
Ollie
soon, I think.
Ollie has actually overtaken Ileana and gone into the points.
If
This is the battle for
if
the final
Agra
points
Host can
position.
hold that will be
As
that will be
Ileana.
Agra Host's first points of the
Yeah,
season.
Ileana goes wide again on the slicks, as is Alex Hill. Ollie is on the wets. Alex Woodger is on the slicks and in 14th and is a lap down on Ollie here.
That is
Dan
not
now
working out
8
for him, is it?
seconds back on Daisy.
But I'm trying to
It
go down
goes
the
through into
inside of Alex
Samsung.
Hill.
It's down the outside into Samsung.
It's always a risky one. Very hard to get two
Greg
cars
has
side by
lapped
side
Mia
here.
now. This is a battle for 6th. Georgia trying to defend against Jack Gray. And Alba managing.
Let's see what happens into the hairpin. Jack Gray's going to have a very good run. Is he going to
Alex
go down the
Hill's just
inside?
overtaken Ileana again.
Georgia is so good at defending on the brakes here.
Yeah. This result would see her into next season automatically.
It would, and it would be very well deserved. She was on for a very strong result last race before she broke down. But
Dan only
this
4
has
seconds
been-
off the
this
back
has
of
been a great
Daisy now.
performance. Alba looking
Alba
for a move on the
back.
outside.
Yeah.
And Alex has got the lead gap down to 4 seconds as well.
Under 4 laps to go though.
It's a tall order, isn't it?
Three laps remain. The gap is 4.6. Greg stretching the lead in the final sector there. Will Jack have a move down into turn 1? Dan is right on the back of Daisy.
Already? Wow.
In the hairpin, Dan almost got the position there. As Greg is right behind them. Georgia still holding off Jack and Alba as they go in towards the hairpin. Dan has got past Daisy and Samsung.
That was always going to happen sooner or later. As Georgia continues to make great defence on the brakes,
Yeah.
but running a bit wide on the exit. That might cost her.
It has. Will Alba be able to take advantage as well? Georgia definitely needs to keep hold of 7th. I'd
8th
say.
place would only be 3 points. I don't think that would be enough to put her in
I
the
don't
top
think
16
so
in the
either.
drivers.
This is possibly the most important battle on track.
Now these
terms of
three
its
battling so
ramifications.
hard is really saving Mia on the slicks, who's only about 10 seconds ahead of them.
Yeah. You can see Mia, in fact.
I think she's still going to be in danger from these three, especially Jack Gray.
2
from the
laps
end of the
remain.
race.
It's only 3.6 seconds now.
Does Greg have any lap traffic in front of him that he's going to have to get past?
Dan and Daisy.
Or Greg, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, Daisy.
I don't think either of those are going to want to give up that place so easily.
But I also don't think that Greg is going fast enough to catch Daisy necessarily. Actually, Daisy's on
I
the
don't know,
slicks.
Daisy's losing 10 seconds a lap.
Daisy's still on the slicks.
Like, probably not catching Dan, no.
Georgia,
Georgia
no!
off! Keeps out the barrier just about, but loses the place to Alba. And now she's going to have to wait.
Alp
Alba
goes through as well.
Is she going to hold on to those points?
Yeah, but
That is a big loss for the Slunts team.
Chris Rowe might be the one celebrating that most.
It might just save him that 16th place in the championship.
Yeah. Greg has got past Daisy.
As Jack Gray's got past Mia.
Yes.
That's on the exit of Samsung.
This is a whole train now, with Alex Woodger involved as well. Greg has
Greg's
got past
got through
all
them
of
all.
these.
That will eliminate any chance Alex has of winning this race, I think.
Yeah.
As Greg will start the final lap of Season 4.
Alex briefly got the gap down to 2 seconds, but all of this traffic's increased to 4.5. Oh, that's... Is that going wide?
That's Ileana, I think.
Is it... Yes!
Now being lapped for a second time in this race.
Ileana and Alex Woodger actually battling for position here?
Both of these two on
I think
slicks. They're easily
maybe-
the two slowest cars out there.
I think Ileana might be a lap ahead of Alex, though. Because of how long...
Hard to tell.
As
I
Alex
don't know how
does
Alex
get
Woodger ended
through,
up so far behind.
I think Greg just got a lovely run through all of them.
This season as a whole has been a very
There
lovely
is
run for Greg.
Like full rain falling now, as Alex Hill appears to have retired on the final sector.
He wasn't quite in the points, but this would have been a double finish for Agrahose.
Alex now, in the pouring rain, comes through the final corner for the final time this season. Onto the front straight, as Alba gets past Mia, and Greg is your Season 4 champion! Alex will come through in 2nd place. We'll take 3rd in the championship. Daisy comes through in 4th, which means Dan is guaranteed 3rd, Ileana 12th, Alex Woodger 14th.
Mia has really lost out on this last
Jack
lap.
Gray
She's
fifth.
lost like 3 places.
Yeah, she's down into 8th now. Jack Gray finishes 5th. Alba, I believe, scored in every race of the season in 6th. Alp is 7th. Mia does finish in 8th. Georgia scores Slunt's first points in 9th. Could have been so much better. Now, can Ollie hold off Bronwyn for that all-important final point?
That might be close. Bron is catching quickly. He's only got a sector to do it, but...
They are both on the wet.
Aggro Hose need this point so much.
They do. And it looks like they'll be getting it. Ollie comes through to take the point for Aggro Hose. Bronwyn finishes 11th. And Dan, in the Constructors' Championship winning Frozen Light, will be 3rd as we look one final time at your champion, Greg. We thank you very much for watching. We will be back next season.